A woman, whose life had already been shattered, found herself cast into an even more agonizing ordeal when she was forced out of her own home following the birth of two beautiful children with dark skin. The harsh, unfeeling words of her husband cut through the air like a bitter winter wind leave. "I refuse to father these black children." His rejection was a cruel blow, leaving her to navigate a heart-wrenching separation from the man she once loved. Meanwhile, the distressing cries of her newborns filled the cold, impersonal hospital corridors, creating a dissonant symphony against the constant hum of overburdened nurses and doctors rushing to fulfill their myriad duties. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. Within the sterile, harsh lighting of room 302, Mary Smith sat, her face still flushed and glistening with the sweat of childbirth, holding her newborn twins close to her heart. She marveled at their tiny, perfect forms, each feature a testament to the incredible miracle of life. Michael and Olivia, though distinct in their traits, were the living embodiment of the profound love she had shared with John, her husband of 5 cherished years. Despite the exhaustion that weighed heavily on her body, Mary was a picture of radiant joy, her spirit lifted by the simple beauty of her children. She tenderly ran her fingers through Michael's soft, dark curls and gently touched Olivia's plump, rosy cheeks. Her eyes, though heavy with the exhaustion of childbirth, remained transfixed on her babies, brimming with unspoken dreams and hopes for their future. She eagerly awaited John's arrival, her imagination filled with the vision of his face lighting up with an enormous smile, his deep blue eyes twinkling with the pride and love of a father finally meeting his children. Yet, as the hurried, echoing footsteps grew louder in the corridor, Mary's anticipation was met with a devastating turn of events. The door to the room burst open with an abruptness that made her heart skip a beat. John stormed into the room, his face flushed and breathless, as if he had sprinted from the ends of the earth to get there. Mary's face was alight with a smile, ready to share the profound joy of this moment with her husband. But her smile faltered and died on her lips as she took in the sight of John's pallid face. His expression was one of utter shock, his eyes wide and unseeing, locked onto the babies in Mary's arms with a mixture of horror and disbelief. His mouth moved in silent, agonized attempts to speak, but no sound emerged, leaving an unbearable silence in its wake. A deep, gnawing dread settled in Mary's chest, a visceral chill that seemed to freeze her very soul. The weight of John's unspoken turmoil and rejection bore down upon her, and she felt an overwhelming wave of despair flood her heart. The moment that was meant to be filled with shared joy and celebration was instead suffused with an ominous, suffocating tension. As the silence stretched between them, Mary's heart ached with a profound sadness, struggling to comprehend the disintegration of her hopes and dreams in the face of her husband's devastating reaction. John Mary's voice wavered with a fragile hope. "Please come and meet your children," her words hung in the air, laden with the anticipation of a joyous reunion. But instead of moving towards her, John recoiled as if struck by an unseen force. "My children," he repeated in a voice choked with disbelief, each word dripping with a profound sense of betrayal. Those aren't my children." His denial cut through Mary like a cold, cruel slap. She glanced down at her newborns, their light brown skin starkly contrasting with her own and John's paler tones. The realization of what John was insinuating crashed over her like a tidal wave, bringing with it a sharp, stabbing pain that seemed to pierce her very soul. "John, please," she pleaded, her voice trembling as tears welled in her eyes. "They are our children, our babies." Her plea, filled with the rawness of a mother's desperate love, seemed to fall into an abyss of indifference. John's face was now a twisted mask of anger and revulsion. "No, Mary," he spat out, his voice laced with venom and contempt. "You've betrayed me with some." His words trailed off into a dark silence, but the rancor in his tone spoke volumes. Mary felt the earth beneath her feet crumble away, the very foundation of her trust and love shattered. How could John think such a thing? How could he doubt her integrity and the depth of her feelings? "John, I have never betrayed you," Mary cried out, her voice quivering with the weight of her anguish. "I love you more than anything. These are our children, born of our love, but John's eyes, once a source of warmth and affection, were now cold and seething with hatred and prejudice. Get out of my house," he snarled, his voice sharp and final. "You and those bastards. I never want to see either of you again." With a final, devastating slam of the door that reverberated through the room, John stormed out, leaving behind a shattered silence. Mary stood frozen, clutching her babies to her chest as the tears streamed down her face, each drop a testament to her heartbreak and despair. The hours that followed blurred into a chaotic whirlwind of sorrow and confusion. The nurse's concerned entrance and the doctor's futile attempts to soothe her all became a distant, muted backdrop to Mary's inner turmoil. Her mind was consumed with John's cruel rejection, the scalding sting of his words, and the crumbling ruins of the life she had once hoped to build with him. Each moment was a painful reminder of the love she thought they shared, now tainted by an unbearable sense of betrayal and loss. When Mary was finally discharged from the hospital, she found herself standing alone on the cold, unforgiving sidewalk, cradling her 2 newborn babies in her arms, with no clear direction or place to go. The weight of her predicament crashed down on her with a relentless force, and a surge of panic welled up in her chest. How was she supposed to care for 2 fragile infants entirely on her own? Where would they find shelter and security? As she stood there, overwhelmed by the gravity of her situation, a flicker of hope appeared in the form of a familiar figure approaching with swift, determined steps. Lisa, her dearest friend since their college days, rushed toward her with an expression of profound concern etched on her face. "Mary, oh my God," Lisa exclaimed, her voice tinged with urgency as she enveloped Mary in a gentle, supportive hug, being careful not to jostle the babies. "I came as soon as I heard. I can't believe what John has done to you." Mary felt the dam of her pent-up tears break as she sank into Lisa's embrace, her sobs muffled against her friend's shoulder. "Lisa," she cried, her voice thick with despair, "I don't know what to do. I have nowhere to go." Lisa looked Mary in the eyes, her gaze resolute and unwavering. "You're coming to my house," she said with unyielding conviction. "I have a guest room ready. You and the babies will stay there as long as you need. I won't hear of anything else." The overwhelming relief that washed over Mary was so profound it nearly left her breathless. "Thank you," she murmured, her voice choked with gratitude that she could barely articulate. The weeks that followed were a tempest of emotional turbulence and relentless challenges. Mary struggled to navigate the uncharted waters of single motherhood, her nights punctuated by the demands of feeding and soothing the twins, endless diaper changes, and the ceaseless ache of John's rejection. Lisa stood by her side through it all, an unwavering pillar of support. As a dedicated civil rights attorney, Lisa not only provided Mary and her babies with a haven, but also took on the formidable task of initiating divorce and alimony proceedings. Her compassion and determination offered Mary a glimmer of hope amidst the storm of her life, a lifeline in a sea of despair. One quiet evening, as the soft hum of the sleeping babies filled the room, Lisa and Mary sat together in the living room, the exhaustion of the past week settling heavily upon them. The comforting silence of the room was occasionally interrupted by the gentle crackle of the fireplace. Lisa's face was etched with fierce determination as she turned to Mary, her eyes alight with a mix of concern and resolve. "He can't just abandon you like this," Lisa said, her voice steady but filled with an underlying intensity. "What he did was racial discrimination, plain and simple. We need to hold him accountable, make him pay for this injustice." Mary met her friend's gaze, her heart a whirlwind of emotions. While she felt an overwhelming gratitude for Lisa's unwavering support, she was also gripped by a deep-seated hesitation. "I don't want to fight, Lisa," she replied quietly, her voice tinged with exhaustion and resignation. "I just want to move forward, to raise my children in peace without all this conflict." Lisa's sigh was heavy with understanding but also with frustration. "I get it, Mary. I truly do. But you have to think about the future of Michael and Olivia. They deserve to have their father's financial support, regardless of his unwillingness to be a part of their lives." Lisa's words struck a chord deep within Mary, planting a seed of contemplation in her heart. As she gently rocked Michael and Olivia in her arms that night, a new sense of resolve began to stir within her. She couldn't undo the past. She couldn't force John to love her or embrace his children, but she could take control of the future she wanted to build for them. The thought of creating a better life for her twins began to crystallize in her mind, driving her forward with renewed purpose. In the days that followed, Mary took her first steps toward a new chapter. She resolved to return to college to complete her master's degree in psychology, a dream she had set aside when she became pregnant. The path ahead was daunting. Juggling coursework, exams, and caring for 2 infants would be a monumental challenge. Yet Mary's determination was unwavering. With each day, she faced the daunting tasks ahead with a growing sense of resolve, knowing that every step she took was a step toward securing a brighter, more stable future for Michael and Olivia. One bright morning, as Mary gently fed Olivia, her resolve crystallized into a clear vision. "I'm going to become a therapist," she declared with quiet determination. Her voice, though soft, carried the weight of a deeply personal promise. "I want to help others work through their traumas, just as I am striving to overcome mine." Lisa, who was seated across from her, offered a proud, encouraging smile, her heart swelling with admiration for her friend's strength and commitment. "Mary, I have no doubt you'll be incredible at it. And know that I'll be right here, supporting you every step of the way." As Mary gazed at her children, their faces radiating pure, untainted innocence, a profound resolve took root in her heart. She made a silent vow to herself and Michael and Olivia she would be their unwavering pillar of strength, creating a life rich in love, acceptance, and resilience. The journey ahead was daunting, fraught with challenges and inevitable moments of self-doubt, but Mary was ready to tackle it all, one day at a time. She knew that forgiveness might come one day, not for John's sake, but for her peace and the well-being of her children. With Lisa's steadfast support and her children's unspoken trust as her motivation, Mary was prepared to forge ahead through the storm. 13 years later, the morning sun poured through the windows of Mary Smith's office, casting a warm, golden light across the room and illuminating the framed diplomas that marked her hard-earned achievements. Mary, now a renowned therapist, sat comfortably in her leather armchair, her fingers expertly leafing through the notes of her latest case. The journey from a heartbroken single mother to a respected professional had been long and arduous, filled with sleepless nights and relentless study sessions while her twins slept. Each obstacle surmounted, every challenge faced, had been a step toward this moment of triumph. Her reflections were interrupted by a gentle knock on the door. "Come in," she called, her voice a blend of warmth and professionalism. Lisa, now a distinguished partner at one of the city's top law firms, entered with her characteristic beaming smile. "Hey, superstar," Lisa teased affectionately, taking a seat in the chair opposite Mary's desk. Ready for our lunch date, the two friends shared a moment of laughter and camaraderie, a testament to their enduring bond and the incredible journey they had shared. Mary laughed, a wave of heartfelt gratitude washing over her as she looked at Lisa. Over the years, Lisa had been her steadfast rock, offering a refuge when she needed it most and caring for her twins while Mary pursued her master's degree. "Sure," Mary replied with a warm smile. "Let me just call Michael and Olivia first to see how their first day at high school went." As she dialed the number, her thoughts drifted to her children. Michael and Olivia, now 13, had become the very essence of her joy and fulfillment. Their growth and the blossoming of their unique personalities and talents were treasures she cherished deeply. They had transformed her world in ways she could never have imagined. The line connected, and Michael's voice came through, tinged with both excitement and apprehension. "Mom? You won't believe it. I've joined the basketball team." Mary's heart swelled with pride. "That's fantastic, sweetheart. I knew you'd make it." There was a pause before Michael continued, his voice faltering slightly. "Yeah, but there are some guys on the team who, well, they keep making comments about me being different." The joy Mary felt moments before faded, replaced by a deep concern. She had dreaded this day, the day when her children would confront the same prejudices that had fractured her own life. "Michael, listen to me," she said, her tone resolute yet soothing. "You are extraordinary just as you are. Never let anyone make you feel otherwise. We'll talk more about this when I get home, okay?" Her heart ached for her son, knowing that the world could be unkind, but she also felt a fierce determination to equip her children with the strength to face such challenges. As she ended the call and turned her attention back to Lisa, Mary's resolve to shield her children from harm and nurture their self-worth remained unwavering. The obstacles they faced only strengthened her commitment to creating a loving and supportive environment where Michael and Olivia could thrive, free from the shadows of prejudice. After ending the call with Michael, Mary dialed Olivia's number, her thoughts still focused on her children's well-being. Olivia answered breathlessly, her voice tinged with a note of excitement amidst the background sounds of a violin. "Mom, I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of rehearsal right now," she said hurriedly. "Teacher Simmons just told me I have the potential to compete in the state competition." Mary's heart swelled with pride at her daughter's dedication and accomplishment. "That's wonderful, sweetheart," she replied warmly. "I'm so proud of you, but remember to take care of yourself too. We'll catch up on all the details later." As she hung up the phone, Mary took a moment to reflect on how much her children had grown and achieved despite the obstacles they had faced. They had displayed remarkable resilience, strength, and compassion, traits she had worked hard to nurture in them. Her gratitude for Lisa's unwavering support was immense, and she felt deeply appreciative of the opportunity she had been given to rebuild her life alongside her children. The afternoon was filled with laughter and nostalgia as Mary and Lisa reminisced over lunch, exchanging stories and cherished memories. When the day started to wind down, Mary returned to her office with a renewed sense of accomplishment. The journey from the depths of heartbreak to the heights of professional and personal fulfillment had been arduous, yet it had also been a journey of profound growth and self-discovery. As she sat in her office, absorbed in her thoughts, Michael's voice suddenly broke through her reverie. "Mom, are you okay? You look a bit worried." Mary forced a smile, trying to mask her concerns. "I'm fine, dear. Just thinking about work." Michael, his gaze still fixed on his math book, glanced up with a hint of curiosity. "Is it about that new patient, the one with amnesia?" Mary hesitated, her mind racing. She had always strived to be honest with her children, but this was different. How could she explain the complexities of her work, especially when it was tangled with the possibility of their estranged father reappearing in their lives? "Yes," she finally said, her voice steady but tinged with unease. "It's a complicated case, but don't worry too much about it right now." The truth was, the patient with amnesia was a reminder of unresolved issues from her past, issues that might one day intersect with her present. Mary knew she needed to prepare herself and her children for whatever the future might bring, but for now, she focused on being there for them and navigating each day with hope and resilience. Olivia tilted her head, her gaze intense and perceptive. "Mom, you always taught us to confront challenges directly. What's going on?" Mary met her children's inquisitive eyes, feeling a rush of deep affection and pride. They had grown into remarkable young people, showing strength and empathy far beyond her maturity at their age. Maybe, just maybe, they could handle the truth. "Children," Mary began, her voice trembling with the weight of what she was about to say, "there's something important I need to tell you." It concerns your father Michael, and Olivia's expression shifted to a mix of shock and curiosity, their eyes wide with anticipation. Mary drew a deep breath, bracing herself for the most challenging conversation she had ever faced. Yet, she knew that no matter how difficult, they would face it together, united as the strong, close-knit family they had become. The morning sun cast a warm glow over the tranquil streets of Millbrook, a seemingly idyllic town that had enjoyed an untroubled existence until recently. Now vibrant posters adorned every corner, heralding a forthcoming community event themed around unity and reconciliation. United in diversity, building bridges, not walls, the banners proclaimed. It was a stark contrast to the turmoil that had stirred beneath the surface just weeks before. Mary walked briskly along the sidewalk, the rhythm of her heels a solitary sound in the early stillness. She paused momentarily in front of one of the posters, her hands quivering as she absorbed the message. The slogan seemed almost ironic, given the recent upheavals. Only a short time ago, Millbrook had teetered on the edge of open discord, its peace shattered by the news of John's return and his sudden amnesia. The story of John's reappearance had reverberated through the town like a shockwave. For some, it represented a chance for redemption, an opportunity to mend past grievances and seek forgiveness. For others, it posed a threat to the delicate equilibrium they had carefully maintained for years. The divided opinions reflected the underlying tensions that now surfaced, exposing fault lines that had long been concealed beneath the town's polished exterior. As Mary continued her walk, she felt the weight of the community's divided sentiments bearing down on her. The return of John with his fractured memory was not just a personal issue, it had become a focal point of collective unease. Each step Mary took seemed to echo the uncertainty of what lay ahead, both for her family and the town she had called home. With a heavy heart, Mary returned her focus to her children, preparing to navigate this new chapter with them. The journey had been filled with trials and triumphs, and now, facing this latest challenge, she felt a renewed determination to protect her family and seek a path forward amidst the evolving landscape of their lives. Mary vividly recalled the tumultuous town council meeting when the truth about John's return came crashing down like a thunderclap. The tension in the room had been palpable, the air thick with a mix of anger, disbelief, and uncertainty. Her neighbors' faces were etched with shock and confusion, their voices rising in a cacophony of outrage and accusation. "How can we trust him, Mr. Thompson?" the proprietor of the local grocery store, had thundered. His voice was laced with fury and fear. "He may have lost his memory, but we haven't forgotten the pain he caused. His return is an insult to everything we've worked hard to build here." On the other side of the argument, Mrs. Rodriguez, a beloved teacher at the local school, had risen with a determined look in her eyes. "He deserves a second chance," she insisted, her voice trying to cut through the rising storm of dissent. "We all make mistakes. If he has truly changed, shouldn't we allow him the opportunity to prove that he's not the same person he was before?" The debate had intensified, and the community almost split in two. The meeting, originally intended to address local concerns, had devolved into a battleground of personal vendettas and moral judgments. As emotions ran high and voices clashed, it seemed as though the very fabric of their town's unity was fraying at the seams. It was at this critical juncture that Lisa stepped forward, her presence commanding the room with a calm authority. "Listen, everyone," she had declared, her voice cutting through the tumult with clarity and purpose. "We are facing a pivotal moment, not just for John, but for all of us as a community. This is an opportunity to address our own biases and prejudices, to evolve and grow together. Let's seize this moment as a catalyst for meaningful change." Her words had resonated deeply, planting the seeds of a new beginning. The notion of using John's return as a means to foster understanding and reconciliation took root and flourished. Over the subsequent days, Lisa, with her unwavering commitment to civil rights, orchestrated a series of community events designed to promote dialogue and empathy. Workshops, panel discussions, and interactive activities emerged, each one crafted to encourage reflection and mutual respect. As Mary arrived at the bustling community center, she was greeted by the sight of Lisa amidst a flurry of activity. Volunteers were setting up booths, arranging chairs, and preparing for the evening's events. The atmosphere was vibrant, filled with a sense of purpose and anticipation. Mary Lisa's voice cut through the organized chaos, her enthusiasm palpable. She waved energetically, her face lighting up with a broad smile. "Come over here and see this." The high school students have been working on an incredible performance for tonight. It's going to be a highlight of our event. Mary made her way over to where Lisa stood, feeling a rush of warmth and appreciation. Watching her friend's tireless efforts come to fruition was deeply satisfying. The community event, once a mere idea amid chaos, had transformed into a symbol of hope and reconciliation. As she took in the preparations and the energy around her, Mary felt a renewed sense of optimism. The path ahead was still fraught with challenges, but seeing the positive changes taking shape gave her hope. This gathering was not just about confronting the past, but about building a future grounded in understanding and acceptance. Mary knew that while the journey was ongoing, the steps they were taking now were paving the way for a more inclusive and compassionate community. Mary approached the stage area, her gaze falling on the young actors rehearsing a play that vividly portrayed various experiences of prejudice and triumph over adversity. Her heart swelled with pride as she saw Michael and Olivia among them, their expressions intense and focused as they rehearsed their lines. "They look amazing," Mary whispered to Lisa, her voice brimming with admiration. Lisa, watching the scene unfold, nodded approvingly. "They're the future, Mary. Look at how maturely and compassionately they're handling this." The day of the event was a whirlwind of activity. Mary found herself moving between tasks, helping with last-minute preparations, offering a reassuring word to nervous participants, and ensuring everything was running smoothly. Her emotions were a mix of excitement and anxiety, a reflection of the significance of the day. Backstage, Mary noticed John pacing nervously. His usual confident demeanor had vanished, replaced by an evident unease. "What if they hate me?" John's voice trembled as he expressed his fears. "What if I don't deserve this second chance?" Mary's heart ached at the sight of John's vulnerability. Despite the pain he had caused her, seeing him so remorseful brought forth a compassion she had thought was lost. She took a deep breath, walked over to him, and placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "John." She began gently, her voice soft yet firm. "The very fact that you're questioning whether you deserve this chance shows how much you've grown. It's a testament to the change you've undergone. Remember, this event isn't just about you. It's about the entire community finding a path to healing and understanding. We're all here to move forward together." John looked at Mary, his eyes reflecting a mix of gratitude and apprehension. "Thank you," he murmured, nodding slowly. "I just hope I can make a difference." "You already have," Mary said with conviction. "By showing up and facing your fears, you're contributing to that change. It's a step toward reconciliation for everyone." As the performance began, the community center filled with an expectant hush. The play unfolded with poignant scenes and heartfelt performances, each act a reflection of personal struggles and communal healing. Michael and Olivia delivered their roles with a remarkable blend of sensitivity and passion, their portrayal of overcoming prejudice striking a deep chord with the audience. Throughout the evening, the atmosphere was charged with a sense of unity and hope. The discussions, performances, and shared experiences began to weave a new narrative for the town, a narrative of growth, understanding, and renewed connection. Mary, watching the community engage with the evening's events, felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The journey had been fraught with challenges, but seeing the positive impact of their collective efforts reaffirmed her belief in the power of empathy and resilience. As the event drew to a close and the crowd began to disperse, John approached Mary once more, a look of quiet satisfaction on his face. "Thank you, Mary," he said sincerely, "for everything, for giving me this chance." Mary offered a warm, forgiving smile. "Let's continue working together, John. There's still a lot to be done, but today was a step in the right direction." With that, Mary joined Lisa and her children, who were surrounded by a circle of friends and supporters. They celebrated the success of the evening, their hearts lightened by the promise of a more compassionate and united community. As the night settled in, Mary looked around at the faces of those who had come together for a common purpose. In the midst of it all, she felt a renewed sense of hope and determination. The road ahead was still uncertain, but with each step they took together, the possibility of a brighter future seemed within reach. John paused, his eyes sweeping across the audience. The room was silent, each person holding their breath, waiting for him to continue. Mary stood among the crowd, her heart pounding as she watched John grapple with his emotions. She could see the weight of his past pressing down on him, but also the glimmer of hope and sincerity in his eyes. "I'm here tonight not just to ask for forgiveness," John said, his voice growing steadier with each word. "I'm here to acknowledge the pain I've caused, to confront the person I used to be, and to show you all the man I strive to become." He took a deep breath, his gaze meeting Mary's. "I know that my actions have left scars, that my prejudice and mistakes have hurt many of you. I can't erase the past, and I don't expect to be absolved of it. But I want to share with you what I've learned during these months of self-reflection." John's eyes shone with sincerity. "I've learned that true change requires not only acknowledging past wrongs, but actively working to make amends. It means facing the discomfort of the truth and committing to actions that foster understanding and respect." As he spoke, John's voice grew more confident, fueled by the support of those around him. "Tonight is not just about me. It's about all of us coming together to heal and build a future where everyone feels valued and respected. We have the power to change the narrative, to make this community a place where acceptance and empathy are not just ideals, but everyday realities." The audience listened intently, their faces reflecting a mixture of skepticism and hope. John continued, sharing his journey and his commitment to working on himself and supporting community initiatives focused on diversity and inclusion. When he finished, the room was filled with subdued applause. Some clapped tentatively, others with more conviction. The mixed reactions were a testament to the complexity of the situation and the long road to forgiveness and reconciliation. Mary felt a surge of hope as she saw the tentative yet hopeful expressions on the faces around her. The journey toward healing was far from over, but this event marked a significant step forward. The community had come together to confront difficult truths, and despite the uncertainties, there was a renewed sense of possibility in the air. As the evening wound down, people began to mingle, discussing the performances in John's speech. Mary joined Michael and Olivia, who were still buzzing with excitement from their performance. Their faces lit up with a mix of relief and pride, and Mary couldn't help but feel a profound sense of accomplishment. Lisa, who had been observing the event with a mix of pride and exhaustion, approached Mary. "You did it, Mary," she said with a tired but happy smile. "This was an incredible step forward. I'm so proud of you and the kids." Mary nodded, her eyes reflecting a deep sense of gratitude. "Thank you, Lisa. I couldn't have done this without your support. Tonight wasn't just about John, it was about all of us coming together and making a difference." As the night grew late and the community center started to empty, Mary felt a sense of peace. The road ahead would still be challenging, but tonight had shown her that change was possible, that hope could be reignited, and that together they could build a more compassionate and understanding community. With a final glance at the now empty stage, Mary took a deep breath and smiled. It was the beginning of a new chapter 1 filled with hope, healing, and the promise of a brighter future for her family and her community. As Mary embraced her children, a profound sense of unity and optimism filled her heart. The event had been a turning point, not just for John but for everyone who had been a part of it. The community, once fragmented by old wounds and prejudices, had come together in a way that Mary had hoped for but hadn't truly believed was possible. Michael and Olivia, holding their mother's hands, looked at her with a mixture of relief and excitement. Mom Olivia said softly, "Do you think things will change? Will people remember tonight as a new beginning?" Mary looked at her daughter, her eyes filled with hope. "I believe they will, Olivia. Change doesn't happen overnight, but this is a start. We've shown that forgiveness and understanding are powerful, and we've taken a big step toward healing." Lisa, who had been observing the scene with a satisfied smile, joined them. "You did great tonight, Mary," she said, her voice filled with warmth. "Your strength and determination have made a real difference." Mary hugged Lisa tightly, her gratitude immense. "I couldn't have done it without you. Your support was everything." As the last of the guests left, the community center grew quieter. The echoes of laughter and conversation faded, leaving behind a sense of accomplishment and a new beginning. John, now with a calmer expression, approached Mary once more. "Thank you, Mary," he said, his voice steady. "Tonight was more than I could have hoped for." Mary nodded, her heart full. "I hope you take this chance and make the most of it. The community is giving you a chance to show who you are now." John smiled, his eyes reflecting a mixture of gratitude and resolve. "I will. I promise." With the night winding down, Mary, Lisa, Michael, and Olivia left the community center together, their hearts lighter than they had been in years. As they walked through the quiet streets of Millbrook, the first stars began to twinkle in the sky, symbolizing the hope and promise of a brighter future. Back at home, Mary and her children settled into a comfortable routine, reflecting on the night's events and the changes they had witnessed. They knew that the road ahead would have its challenges, but the unity and compassion they had experienced gave them strength. In the days that followed, the community continued to come together, working on initiatives that promoted diversity and inclusion. Mary returned to her practice with renewed energy and purpose, inspired by the resilience and hope she had seen in her community and her own family. As the weeks turned into months, the changes in Millbrook became more evident. People from different backgrounds began to connect more deeply, and the events of the past seemed to take on a new perspective. Mary's journey from a place of pain and loss to one of healing and hope paved the way for something meaningful and enduring. And so, with every step forward, Mary continued to build a future filled with love, acceptance, and the promise of a better tomorrow for her family and her community. Michael had looked at her with tear-streaked cheeks, the weight of his pain visible in his eyes. "But how, Mom? How do I keep going when it feels like everything is against me?" Mary had placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "You keep going by proving them wrong, by showing them that your value isn't determined by their prejudice. Your strength comes from within, and you've already shown so much of it. The world might be tough, but you have the power to rise above it." Her words seemed to sink in, and though the road ahead was still fraught with obstacles, Michael had picked up his basketball with renewed determination. The months that followed were a whirlwind of hard work and perseverance. Michael's dedication was evident in every practice, every game. He transformed his pain into fuel, letting his skill and passion speak for themselves. Now, in the school gymnasium, as the final buzzer was about to sound, Mary watched Michael with a swell of pride. Despite the challenges he faced, he became a key player on the team, earning the respect of his peers through sheer determination and talent. The game was intense. Every dribble, every pass, every shot was met with cheers from the crowd. Mary's heart raced with every play. Olivia's fingers drummed a nervous rhythm on her violin, but her gaze was steady, focused on her brother. The tension in the gymnasium was electric as the final moments of the game approached. With just seconds left on the clock and the score tied, Michael took possession of the ball. The entire gym held its breath as he dribbled towards the hoop, the opposing team closing in on him. Mary felt her entire body tense, her eyes locked on her son. Michael's movements were fluid, a testament to countless hours of practice and perseverance. He made a quick move past his defender, and with a final, decisive shot, the ball sailed through the air. Time seemed to stretch as it arced towards the basket. The buzzer blared, and the ball swished through the net. The gym erupted into cheers and applause. Michael's teammates lifted him in celebration, his face radiant with triumph. Mary and Olivia joined in the ecstatic roar, their hearts swelling with pride and joy. Mary found her way down to the court, where Michael was surrounded by his teammates. She pulled him into a tight embrace, her eyes brimming with tears of joy. "You did it, Michael. I'm so proud of you." Michael, breathless and beaming, hugged her back. "Thanks, Mom. I couldn't have done it without your support." Olivia joined them, her violin case slung over her shoulder. "You were amazing out there, Michael. I knew you could do it." As the crowd continued to celebrate, Mary looked around at the faces of the people who had supported her family through their journey. The community, once divided, now stood united in celebration, reflecting the change that had begun with the event and continued with moments like this. As the night wore on, Mary reflected on how far they had come. Her children had faced significant challenges but had emerged stronger and more resilient. Their triumphs were not just personal victories but symbols of a larger transformation, a testament to their strength and the support of those around them. The gymnasium, with its echoes of celebration and joy, was a fitting backdrop for the culmination of their journey. Mary knew that the road ahead still had its hurdles, but as she looked at Michael and Olivia, she felt a renewed sense of hope and determination. They had faced adversity with courage and grace, and together they would continue to build a future filled with promise and possibility. As the clock ticked down, every second felt like an eternity. The players on both sides were giving it their all, their sweat and determination evident with each play. Michael, now fully in his element, was a beacon of focused energy. The opposing team seemed to be struggling to keep up with his agility and sharp shooting. Mary's hands were clenched in anticipation, her eyes never leaving her son. Olivia's hand rested on her shoulder, silent support as they both watched with bated breath. The final seconds of the game approached, and it was clear that Michael was about to make a pivotal play. With only 10 seconds left, Michael received the ball from his teammate. The gym was a cacophony of cheers, the roar of the crowd blending with the pounding of feet on the court. Michael dribbled past his defender, his movements precise and fluid. He glanced at the scoreboard, -7 seconds remaining. He knew this was his moment. Mary's heart pounded in her chest as Michael moved towards the basket, the opposing team closing in on him. He feigned a shot, then pivoted and launched a perfectly timed three-pointer. The ball soared through the air, heading straight for the hoop. Time seemed to slow as the ball arced gracefully. The crowd held its breath, eyes fixed on the ball's trajectory. It hit the rim, bounced once, and then fell through the net. The buzzer sounded just as the ball swished through, signaling the end of the game. The gym erupted into chaos. Michael's teammates swarmed him, lifting him in jubilant celebration. Mary and Olivia leaped to their feet, joining in the roaring applause. Michael's face was a mixture of disbelief and pure elation as he was carried off the court by his friends. Mary made her way to the court, weaving through the jubilant crowd. She found Michael, his face flushed with victory, and wrapped him in a fierce hug. "You did it, Michael. You were incredible," she exclaimed, her voice choked with emotion. Michael hugged her back tightly, tears of happiness streaming down his face. "We did it, Mom. I couldn't have done it without your support." Olivia joined them, her own eyes misty with pride. "You were amazing out there, Michael. You showed everyone what you're truly capable of." As they embraced, Mary took a moment to savor the joy of the evening. The game had been more than just a basketball match. It was a testament to Michael's growth and resilience. The triumph was not just on the scoreboard, but in the strength and character Michael had displayed throughout his journey. As the night continued with celebrations and congratulatory messages, Mary reflected on the path they had traveled. From the struggles and challenges they faced to this moment of victory, it had been a journey of transformation and hope. The community had come together, and her family had emerged stronger, their bonds deepened through their shared experiences. Mary looked at Michael and Olivia, her heart full of pride. They had not only overcome their challenges, but had also helped bring their community closer. As she watched the celebration unfold, Mary felt a profound sense of accomplishment and gratitude. The future was still uncertain, but with the strength and unity they had forged, she knew they were ready to face whatever came next, together. Mary's heart was full as she looked out over the revitalized town of Millbrook. The victory from the previous night was more than just a basketball championship. It was a symbol of the town's progress, resilience, and unity. The echoes of cheers from the gymnasium still resonated in her mind, a reminder of how far they had all come. As she and her family prepared to enjoy a quiet breakfast together, the phone rang, breaking the early morning calm. It was Lisa, her voice brimming with excitement. "Mary, I just heard the news. Michael's game was incredible. The whole town is buzzing with pride." Mary chuckled, feeling a warmth spread through her. "Thank you, Lisa. It was an unforgettable night. We couldn't have done it without your support." "Well, I think you've all shown something extraordinary," Lisa said. "You've shown that with hard work, determination, and a bit of support from each other, you can overcome even the toughest challenges." As Mary ended the call, she looked around at her family. Michael and Olivia were still basking in the afterglow of their success, their laughter filling the room with joy. Michael's eyes sparkled with the excitement of his achievement, and Olivia's proud smile was a reflection of the bond they shared. Over breakfast, the conversation flowed easily. They talked about the game, their plans, and how they had all grown through the experience. Mary felt a profound sense of contentment, knowing that despite the hardships, they had come out stronger and more connected than ever before. The town of Millbrook, too, was experiencing a renewal. The community event had sparked a newfound sense of togetherness. Neighbors who had once avoided each other were now engaging in meaningful conversations and collaborations. The sense of division that had once seemed so entrenched was beginning to dissolve, replaced by a collective spirit of understanding and support. As Mary looked out the window, she saw families walking together, children playing in the park, and the town square bustling with activity. The air was filled with a sense of possibility and optimism. The struggles of the past had paved the way for a brighter future, and Mary was grateful for every step of the journey. With Michael and Olivia by her side, and a community that was learning to embrace change and growth, Mary felt a renewed sense of purpose and hope. The road ahead would undoubtedly have its challenges, but she knew that with resilience, love, and the support of those around her, they could face whatever came their way. As she sipped her coffee, Mary took a deep breath and smiled. The future was wide open, and with the strength of her family and community, she was ready to embrace it with confidence and gratitude. As we wrap up today's journey, I hope you've been inspired by the resilience and growth of Michael, Olivia, and Mary. Their story is a powerful reminder that even in the face of adversity, strength, determination, and support can lead to incredible triumphs and transformative change. So, what have you learned from Michael's journey to the championship or the community's healing process? What's one lesson or insight from this story that you will take with you and apply to your own life? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear what resonates with you and how you plan to put these lessons into practice. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your comment, like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Your support helps us continue to bring you valuable and inspiring stories. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.